If you give bribery no more. If you receive bribery, don't receive no more. If you demand bribery, don't demand bribery no more. If you engage in corrupt practices and sinful things, don't do that no more. For that is what the Lord reminds us in this season. It's not about showing up and burning candles and singing praises and in worship and thinking and praising God about how He came to give His life for your salvation. That is not what God is looking at. For those are nothing but a hypocrisy. For God is looking in your heart to see where do you stand and what do you do with the life God gave you. Is there a real change? You used to be a murderer, but you are no longer a murderer. You used to steal, but you no longer steal. You used to commit adultery and engage in sexual sins, but you don't do that no more. And it is not the ones you do in secret and thinking that nobody sees you, for you cannot hide from God. That is the purpose of the season, and that is what we are celebrating. We are celebrating you changing your life, receiving Christ, coming to start a new life as afresh, a new beginning for your life. That's what the season is about. That yesterday, that you used to do the same thing that you are doing, but today you don't do it no more. We are not celebrating the season that we are in today, that on Sunday you show up in the church, but on Monday, then you go to a secret court. Those that plot about those that cause mayhem in the society, those they're going to kill, those they're going to murder, those they're going to obstruct, those they're going to deceive, those that they're going to steal from in their secret courts, in their gangsters. Then on Tuesday, then you will see them go into the witches and wizards and all the native doctors in all diabolic things in order to get the powers of the devil in order to serve them. So on Sunday, they go to church. Then on Monday, they go to a secret court where they plot their evil. Then on Tuesday, they go to where they get the demonic and evil powers which they operate from. Then on some Wednesday, they run to the church in order for them to get into Bible studies. They want to be in the Bible study on Wednesday, so that they will look also that they are all believers in God, that everybody will see them in their hypocritical moves. On Thursday, you will find them going to secret societies, Freemasons and Illuminatis, and all the secret societies, Eastern and Western stars, and all kinds of secret society, the civilized demonic worship, where though they present themselves as if they are for God, but they also of evil. Then on Friday, you will see them also go to the mosque because they also want to be seen to be acceptable. Or they run to the church on Sunday for those that are on the other side, depending on where their religion lies. They see them together in worship so that it will be like they are sensitive and they are lovely and they are loving, but it is all for their own selfishness. We are celebrating a season that is selfless, a season of selflessness. It's not a season of selfishness when one only think about what will benefit them, what their interests are, what they can gain, how they can gain. And why those are in mosque, others are going to night vigil so that they can show up on the Sabbath day being in the presence of God. And then they will run to the synagogue and participate in the activities of the synagogue so that they will find themselves before the nations of the earth, regardless of their religion, their tradition, their culture, to be one, to be amenable, to be sociable, to be acceptable, to be supported, all like the hypocrites that Christ himself described in the reading today. These are not the soldiers, and there is no member of the soldiers shall be and live in that kind of life, for you have been admonished to live a life of integrity and faithfulness to God. Those that seek for loyalty, but they have no loyalty to God, their God, how much more to another man? So you must ask yourself and begin to think about the life that you live. You look at in the sharing of the commonwealth. People who go in the commonwealth and they take the commonwealth fund. Those that take the money that belongs to the people and then eat all by themselves. That is not the kind of thing that the Lord, and I can take you a little bit into the scriptures. And if you go into the book of Acts of Apostle in chapter 2, Acts of Apostle in chapter 2, Acts of Apostle in chapter 2, from verse 22 to 31, he says, Men of Israel, listen to these words. Jesus the Nazareth, or the Nazarene, Jesus of Nazareth, or Jesus the Nazarene, a man attested to you by God with miracles and wonders and signs which God performed through him in your midst, just as you yourselves know. This man delivered over by the predetermined plan and foreknowledge of God, you nailed to a cross by the hands of godless men and put him to death. But God raised him up again, putting an end to the agony of death, since it was impossible for him to be held in his power. God's power is always going to be above every other power. And when you read further, you will hear them say, no, don't try to put the death of this man on our head. And people start to feel bad, like those that feel bad right now. And all the time that somebody talks about what they're doing wrong. So rather than feel bad that they could not and are in the wrong, and we are not obedient to the commands of the Lord, and in violation of the instructions, they are living below